Chairman Powell, to the best of my knowledge, the last public meeting between you and President Biden occurred on May 31st, 2022. Does that sound accurate?
I'm going to take your word for it.
Okay. Have you had any private meetings with the president since that time?
No.
Any phone calls with the president?
Nope. I don't believe so.
Is there any reason why you've not met with or spoken to the president?
I meet with, when any president calls, you come and you meet, but that hasn't happened, so.
So in over 2 years, with inflation still nagging us, with cost out of control, President Biden has not asked to meet with you in over 2 years?
I haven't had a meeting with him. He hasn't sought a meeting, and of course I don't seek meetings, so you have the date.
But to your knowledge, in the last 2 years, you've not spoken with or met with the president at all?
He shook his hand in a line once, but that wasn't a conversation. It was just, Mr. President, and that was it. It was at a state dinner. I attended a state dinner a few months ago, and I shook his hand. Good evening, Mr. President, and that was it.
Does that not strike you as odd that the president has not sought to meet with you?
Not at all. Not at all. We're an independent agency, and
Mr. Chairman, parliamentary inquiry, please, Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry.
Am I recognized?
I want to answer your.
State your inquiry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I make a point of order under Clause 4 of Rule 17 that the gentleman's words are disorderly and violate the rules of decorum in debate insofar as they are negatively reflecting upon the personality of a candidate for President of the United States.
The Congressman is not engaged in any personality or in any, has questioned anything about anyone at this point. I'm not sure where you're going, Congressman. Congressman is recognized.
Thank you.
Mr.
Thank
Chairman,
you.
Happy to answer your question.
Mr. Chairman.
Answer your question.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to
Not at all
continue with the
unusual.
point of order, please.
What is your point of order?
Mr. Chairman, we have been admonished in this committee that we should not have words that negatively reflect upon persons who are running for president. This would include Mr. Trump as well as the current president.
Didn't the ranking member do a whole opening monologue diatribe about some ridiculous
Would you
Project
please rule my
2025?
friend out of order, Mr. Chairman, until you rule?
Mr. Lawler has not admonished or said anything negative about the president at all. I just listened to his comments. So I'm going to recognize the Congressman again, Mr. Lawler from New York.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Powell, you were trying to answer my question.
So we're an independent agency. The administration has been very respectful of the Fed and not, wanting to try to influence and things like that. And I don't find it at all unusual. I've been at the Fed this is my 13th year, and I think there can go by long periods of time when the Fed chair doesn't meet with the president, and that's totally fine. Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting it more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And guys, please like and subscribe if you do like what you're listening to. Please inform your friends and family and spread it all over social media. It is imperative that we get back to learning finances and understand how the world really works, because once we understand how the world really works, we understand that it is all planned out. Now, I want to thank those who purchased the books Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book. Remember, the New World Order book shows you how the world really works, and it is definitely time for you to wake up out of that sleep, especially in the times that we're in right now. And 2024 is going to be one of our most entertaining years. We have the presidential election. We have the drums are beating. We have the emerging markets going to be flipping the switch on the fourth industrial revolution. Now, we had the Fed signal rate cuts, but remember, guys, they haven't cut rates yet. So we know the master magicians are about to set up that distraction. So therefore, they can cut rates while we still have inflation. And in the fourth quarter, once the election is over, we know the movie begins. And also, guys, I want to thank those who purchased the 3 Kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, much love to those who donate to the Cash App, Patreon. Much love. Keep it coming. Guys, if you're not a part of the Patreon, make sure you're donating to the channel through the actual Cash App. But guys, this next Bitcoin and crypto bull run is going to be a utility run. So you want to make sure you have the cryptos that have real utility. And much love to those who are shopping at both stores. Keep it coming. And of course, guys, we get into Bitcoin and cryptos first.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And right now we have Bitcoin and crypto pulling back. Did make a move up to about 59,000, but now moving back. And then also, guys, we have stocks up. we have MicroStrategy to do a split 10-1. And we see these few companies that are getting this money, they're following the same steps. And part of those steps are splits. But guys, we had CPI numbers come out. Of course, the narrative is all they can say is lower than expected. But again, we know it's all corporate greed. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, we are well over 3%. In those grocery stores and restaurants, rents, it's about 30%. But guys, make sure you're paying attention to the actual indicators. We have yield rates right now are down because the CPI narrative. We have the dollar down. We have volume and crypto up. And we have Tether and USDC. And then, of course, guys, we have the Fed. Repo was at $422 billion yesterday. Make sure you're pulling out on a daily basis during the week. And we have Fed Jerome Powell back in the house July 31st for the Fed meeting. Will they cut rates before September? Remember, August, no Fed meeting. And there's a lot that could happen. And the Fed looks at core inflation. I think it was at 2.6. It probably dropped down a little more. But again, guys, we know inflation is way higher than that when it comes to necessities. But guys, we had Fed Jerome Powell state he hasn't met with the president since 2022. So that should let you know that I don't care who makes the laws. If I control the money, I control the economy. And that exchange was clearly scripted because, again, he's reading off a piece of paper. It had nothing to do with that situation. He wasn't even talking about Biden's health. He was supposed to save that until the end. He's the one that needs to get checked out. But he definitely was reading off a piece of paper. Guys, it's all theater. But unfortunately, the sheep stay distracted on things that don't matter. And in these economic conditions, the president should definitely be meeting with the Fed because rates shouldn't be this high in the first place. Guys, you're talking about $1 trillion just to service the debt. That is out of this world. But remember, this is all a plan in order to get us moved over to the fourth industrial revolution. They printed all this money to create all this inflation, to raise rates, to fight the inflation that they caused, which they know is going to break up this economy. So therefore, they can bring in the robots, algorithms, and drones. Remember, problem, reaction, solution. And then, guys, we have Donald Trump to be speaking at the Bitcoin 2024 conference in Nashville this month. And again, guys, the entertainment is definitely going to be stepping up, going towards the end of this year. I told you, you're going to feel like you're in a movie. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Now, guys, do not forget about the spot Bitcoin ETFs. We have BlackRock, Fidelity, and Grayscale all up right now. But getting over into a little crypto news, we have Fireblocks adds first clutch of its crypto safe keep firms in its global custody program. And they start off with 5 custody firms. Now we have Notcoin, 1inch, and Sign launch accelerator for Telegram and Ton ecosystems. And gaming and NFTs are the carrots to get the millennials and Generation Z inside the metaverse. NFTs are nothing but digital IDs. Now we have OpenAI and Los Alamos National Laboratory announced partnership to study AI for bioscience research. And Los Alamos is the firm behind the atomic bomb. We know all about Manhattan Project. Whatever they're working on, guys, we know it's not good for humanity. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Now we have Goldman Sachs set to launch 3 new tokenization projects this year in the U.S. and in Europe. And just a few years ago, all these big banks said they would not touch crypto. Now they're all coming in. And guys, don't forget, when you follow the money, they were funding Bitcoin and crypto from the beginning. And then lastly, guys, we have the SEC drops its investigation into BUSD stablecoin following probe into PAXOS. And guys, the only thing we have to do is hit the rewind button. I told you PAXOS was already registered in New York. There was nothing wrong with BUSD. but it was connected to Binance. Remember, guys, this is all a plan. The same thing with SVB. You even had Jerome Powell bring up Silicon Valley Bank twice when we clearly know that was Peter Thiel causing that. That had nothing to do with crypto. That was U.S. Treasuries. But when there's only a few people who understand that the narrative is not true, we know the mainstream media has a louder voice. Just like I stated, the sheep stay asleep. And the banks can constantly get away with this because we know the banks are the biggest what? I'll let you finish that. But the people stay distracted on things that don't matter, and they're going to be the ones to blame. Because remember, my people perish from the lack of knowledge because they rejected. And everything I stated, you can look up. It's right at your fingertips. Something that never could have happened 50 years ago. You have all the knowledge, but it's a lot of noise. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. But that's all I have for you. Don't forget about the books, Crypto Teacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate. Not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.